Hey, today I'm going to talk about 3 Oscar-nominated movies, and their titles are Promising Young Woman, Another Round, and Farmageddon. It's gonna be a good one. First up is Promising Young Woman. This movie needs to win Best Picture. So out of the 8 nominees for Best Picture, I've now seen 6 of the 8. I haven't seen The Father or that Korean movie. My personal favorite is Sound of Metal. I love that movie a lot. I cried so much in that movie. The movie that I think is definitely going to win is Mank. Fincher hasn't won Best Picture before. This is also like a big passion project of his, and it was written by his late father. Also, it's just a giant love letter to old school Hollywood. Like, this has Best Picture written all over it. I don't see how this movie can't win. But the movie that needs to win, because it is so damn important, is Promising Young Woman. It's an incredible film that it needs all the praise it can get because it needs to get in front of as many eyes as possible to help enlighten people. The premise of this movie is about a woman who goes around exposing nice guys to be the not so nice guy that they are. And I would honestly describe this movie as like a horror movie or thriller, not because it's scary or there's a ton of blood or like a lot of violence or anything. It's terrifying because it's real, it's true. It's not based off a true story, but like all the maddening things that all these characters say are things that people constantly say to be super dismissive about rape and sexual assault allegations. And it's just, it crushes your soul because it's, yeah, this is a fictitious story, but those words, you don't want to ruin this guy's life. They ring so true, and it's so, it kills you. You just want what happens in the story to not be real, but it's so painfully real. The part that kept getting me the most was whenever they were like, oh, we were so young, we were just kids. And they were referring to when they're like in their early 20s, like 22, 23 years old. And I'm like, I vividly remember being that age. I was not a kid. I knew better than that. They knew better than that. But yet people just dismiss it because, you know, that's just the way our culture is. And that's just the heartbreaking, terrifying truth of our world. Something that was said a lot on Reddit that I full-heartedly agree with is just the excellent casting in this movie, because all of the male characters are played by actors who play lovable characters on other shows and movies. And you just like instinctually really like those guys because you're used to seeing them, you know, be these lovable, great guys. But then they turn around and do these terrible, awful things. But that's driving home the point of the movie, is because you're seeing these people that you love do these terrible things, and like you're just like, no, that's Schmidt from New Girl. There's no way he can be doing this terrible, awful thing. And that just points out just our innate bias of like, no, I like Joe what's his name. There's no way. You don't know Joe what's his name. He would never do that terrible thing you're accusing him of. You don't know what you're talking about. People just don't want to believe that, you know, this person they've known for all their life is actually kind of awful. So in much the same way that I feel that Blind Spotting should be shown in every high school across America, which, by the way, if you haven't seen Blind Spotting, please watch it. It's a really good, really important movie. Promising Young Woman should be shown at every single college orientation across the country. It's just too damn important, and everyone needs to see this movie. It's heartbreaking and done so well. Next up is Another Round. This is nominated for Best Foreign Film or Best Foreign Language Film. I forget how they're classifying it now. It is a Danish film from Denmark. I've been excited about this movie since the first trailer. I was like, Mad Mikkelsen being just like a drunk? This sounds great. Sign me up. I want to see this. The basic premise is basically what I just said. Mad Mikkelsen and some of his other teacher friends are trying to find out if you can have a constant buzz throughout the day and if that heightens your life experience. And yeah, it was great. I was not disappointed in this movie. It's essentially a love letter to Denmark. That's not just me saying that, that's people from Denmark who were commenting on Reddit threads about it. Because apparently, like, the drinking culture there is just insane. Like, I'm a Wisconsinite, so, you know, I'm used to Wisconsin drinking, but like, it's a lot more than what we're used to. And I was kind of expecting this movie to just kind of be about like the dangers of alcoholism and stuff. And they did touch on it a little bit, but I would almost say that it's kind of like a love letter to alcohol. And I get that in a sense too, because from personal experience, I would say I truly started to figure out who I was as a person once I started drinking. I saw who I was when I was drinking and I was like, oh, that's who I want to be. I want to be more vocal. I want to be more expressive. I want to, you know, dance. But Charlie before that was just like this very tightly wound person who didn't say anything ever. I can still be like that, but like I'm now more aware of who I am and try to be like the better qualities of drunk Charlie when sober. So I definitely get like the innate value of alcohol that they show off in this movie. I don't know, it's so interesting. This definitely is a movie with lots of layers. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this film. It was really good. I definitely recommend it if it looks interesting to you.
And lastly is
Farmageddon. This is a Shaun the Sheep movie, and actually it came out in 2019, which is really confusing why it's nominated for an Oscar this year, but whatever. If you've never heard of Shaun the Sheep, it's a claymation TV show made by the same guys who made Wallace and Gromit. And this is actually its second film. I saw the first one back in theaters. It was actually on my 25th birthday. I sat alone in a theater, like literally completely empty, just me alone, my 25th birthday watching this little kid's movie. And I crazy loved it. That movie is incredible. It's essentially a silent film, and it's just got so much humor and love, and just it's so great. I love it so much. So I definitely had high hopes going in for this one. It was super adorable. I had lots of fun watching it, and I was excited about the sci-fi twist in this movie. And I think they did a really good job with all the sci-fi stuff. It is a big love letter to sci-fi. There's so many references to just everything, and they do such a good job. My only complaint with the movie is that I just wasn't in 100% the right mood for this movie, which is so heartbreaking because I love so much about this movie. I love the little alien guy. I love all the references to everything. Sean is adorable as ever. The dog is great in it. It's a really good movie that just didn't quite connect with me as much as I wanted to, but I know the next time I watch it, I'm going to enjoy it more. That's gonna happen. There's no way that's not gonna happen. I guarantee it's gonna happen. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie if it looks intriguing and fun, because you're in for a good time. And also, you don't need to worry about watching like the TV show or the other movies or shorts and stuff. You immediately can figure out what's going on. Like the second scene in the movie perfectly establishes who Sean is as a sheep. That's a fun sentence to say. And it's just you're in for a good fun time. Yeah, you don't need to watch anything else before you can just dive right in with this one. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we have Promising Young Woman, sitting at number 5 in the really liked category. Again, that movie needs to win Best Picture. You should watch that movie and show it to everyone you know. And then next up is Another Round, sitting at number 14, also in the really liked. And then bringing up the rear, even though it's not that far down, is Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon, sitting at number 26 in the quite liked section. It's right at the top of the quite liked section. I couldn't quite push it over that line. I wanted to hurt me that I couldn't do it, but it is what it is. And this is out of a total of 84 movies so far this year.